All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're unpacking the absolute essential toolkit that every single Level 3 IT tech sales apprentice needs to master. We're looking at the true anatomy of a successful IT sale, taking the raw concepts straight out of your coursework and applying them directly to the real world.
So, I want to kick things off with a pretty critical question. Are you selling a product or are you selling an outcome? It is so incredibly easy to fall into the trap of just pitching some cool new tech. But true commercial awareness, that means realizing that customers don't actually buy technology. They buy solutions to their problems. They're buying efficiency, they're buying security, and really, they're buying peace of mind.
To get us there, we're going to follow a chronological sales journey. We'll decode true customer needs, figure out how to manage stakeholders and scope, tackle planning and risk, master tech sales communication, and finally, deliver the final solution. Let's jump in.
Starting off with Section 1, Decoding True Customer Needs. What is the real problem?
This is literally step one. You've got to discover the actual problem before you even think about throwing numbers or quotes around. Picture a small law firm coming to you and saying, "Hey, our Wi-Fi is awful, we just want faster routers." Now, if you just sell them a fast router, you've completely missed the mark. By asking the right discovery questions, you might find out their actual needs are stable Wi-Fi for their Teams calls, a guest network that's strictly isolated from their sensitive internal legal docs, and remote management because, well, they don't have on-site IT. You don't just sell a router, you sell a fully managed Wi-Fi solution with VLANs and monitoring.
Okay, let me just speak directly to you as an apprentice for a second. Phrasing your portfolio reflections using this exact framework, absolute gold for your coursework. This mental flow isn't just for this explainer, it's a direct, reusable blueprint for logging your off-the-job or OTJ evidence. When you're writing up your logs, literally use phrasing like, "I gathered requirements by asking," or "I confirmed constraints like budget and building layout," or "I defined acceptance criteria ensuring the video calls didn't drop." Doing that proves to your assessors that you actually understand the sales methodology, not just the tech specs.
Moving on to Section 2, Managing Stakeholders and Scope. Who is actually affected by all this?
Look, satisfying only the person writing the check and totally ignoring the actual end users, that is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. It leads to delays and straight-up cancellations. When you're in a room pitching a solution, you are very rarely just talking to one single persona. You have to read the room. You have to read the nonverbal cues. If you overload the meeting with deep technical jargon, sure, you might impress the IT manager, but you're going to completely alienate the finance director. You have to constantly assess the technical knowledge of your audience and adjust your language on the fly.
So who actually are these stakeholders? Think about a charity buying a bunch of new laptops and Microsoft 365. The CEO cares about the overall cost and the business impact, right? The operations manager? They care about how fast you can roll it out. The volunteers, the end users, they just want it to be super easy to log in. And the data protection lead? Well, they only care about encryption and multi-factor authentication. As a top-tier sales professional, your job is to connect your one solution to every single one of those unique concerns.
All right, let's talk about scope. Really, scope is just laying out exactly what's included and, maybe even more importantly, what's excluded. If you sell a new phone system, your scope absolutely must explicitly state that while 30 handsets and number porting are included, things like rewiring their dusty old office ports or writing their call center scripts are excluded. A clear, documented scope is what protects you from clients assuming they'll just do extra work for free. It prevents massive headaches and conflicts down the line.
All right, Section 3, Planning, Risk, and Change. How do we ensure a smooth delivery? Because honestly, selling the solution, that's really only half the battle. Making sure it gets implemented without a hitch is just as vital. Risks are basically anything that can cause a delay, extra cost, or reputational damage. Imagine you sell a shiny new point-of-sale system to a retail store. If you don't bother to check if their old card terminals are compatible, or even worse, if you schedule the whole go-live on a crazy busy Saturday afternoon, you are literally risking huge queues, failed transactions, and one seriously furious store manager.
So the key here is mitigation. To fix that retail nightmare we just talked about, you'd propose a pilot program in just one store first. You'd schedule the go-live for a nice quiet Tuesday morning, and you always document a rollback plan. Showing this level of risk mitigation to your clients proves you've got deep commercial awareness. It shows mature professional practice. You aren't just out there shifting boxes. You are actively partnering in their success.
But even with a completely perfect plan, you are gonna hit user resistance. People hate change.
That's where change management steps in. When you're rolling out multi-factor authentication, a user is inevitably going to complain, this is so long, why make me do this? A really poor response is just saying, well, IT mandated it. A great sales response that explains that it actively prevents account takeovers, it protects their company data, and actually, it's totally required for their cyber insurance policy. You absolutely must sell the why, not just the what, if you want to drive real adoption.
Next up, Section 4, Mastering Tech Sales Communication. You got to speak their language. You really need the right technical vocabulary to articulate these plans smoothly. Take Unified Communications, or UC. As an IT tech sales apprentice, you don't need to know this just so you can rattle off spec sheets. You need to know it because UC is how you present comprehensive solutions that drive a client's entire digital transformation. It's about showing them exactly how integrating their voice, video, and chat is going to streamline their day-to-day operations.
Then, of course, we have Voice over IP, or VoIP. When you're chatting with a client, you want to highlight that VoIP completely replaces expensive traditional phone lines by sending voice right over the internet. You pitch this by focusing heavily on how it dramatically slashes their communication costs, all while fully supporting mobility for their remote workers. And really underpinning all of that is SIP, or Session Initiation Protocol. You can think of SIP as the critical backbone that actually sets up and seamlessly connects those voice and video sessions across their networks. Knowing how SIP acts as that foundational layer helps you build massive credibility when you're talking to the technical gatekeepers we mentioned earlier.
So, how do you actually apply these communication skills when things inevitably go wrong? Let's say a server delivery gets delayed. A bad update simply says, "Delivery delayed." Honestly, that's useless and it just causes panic. A professional, solution-oriented update says, "Hey, delivery is delayed by 4 days due to supplier stock. Our new ETA is Tuesday, but as a mitigation, we can deploy some temporary equipment for 1 week." That right there, that is exactly how you maintain trust.
Finally, Section 5, Delivering the Final Solution, Proving it all works. We've made it to the final stages of the life cycle. This is where you prove the solution actually works and hand it over successfully to the client. And listen, testing is not just for the engineers. It matters big time for sales too. Think back to our managed Wi-Fi rollout. Functional testing proves the devices can actually connect. Non-functional testing proves 40 people can be on a Teams call in the boardroom without any lag. Integration testing ensures their single sign-on still works flawlessly. And user acceptance testing, or UAT, is where the staff actually put their name on the dotted line and sign off. As a sales rep, coordinating this UAT feedback and capturing these results proves definitively that you delivered the outcome you promised.
Let's tie this whole shebang together with a practical roadmap, using a Charity Cloud email migration as our example. Step 1. Identify the need. Say their on-premise server is failing, and list all the stakeholders. Step 2. Assess risks, like potential data loss, and mitigate by backing everything up first. Step 3. Communicate the migration plan super clearly to the staff. Step 4. Test the new logins and get that official sign-off. And Step 5, hand over the documentation and the risk register. For all the apprentices listening, memorize this mental flow. Reuse this exact roadmap every single time you log a piece of work.
I really want to highlight this super powerful summary from our source material. You are not just selling technology. You are managing expectations, understanding risk, and ensuring compliance. This one single quote perfectly anchors the entire philosophy of what it truly means to be a modern IT sales professional.
Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. How are you going to frame your next big sale? Are you just going to pitch a shiny product, or will you apply this holistic lifecycle framework to uncover their real needs, mitigate the risks, and deliver a true, measurable outcome? The next time you engage a client, use this exact blueprint to completely stand out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy selling!